Hi guys, I'm glad you're all here. Thank you very much for joining me today. Hope you're enjoying your day. I do not know why this is not all over the news, but 3 Croatians were arrested as they tried to leave Serbia at the border with some very dangerous high-level radioactive material. Going to Google Earth, here's the location where it occurred. Here is Croatia. Here is Serbia. And let's see, the border crossings are right here. They evidently came from the area of Sombor. There's conflicting reports. Some said they were arrested there or arrested right here at the border crossing of Bazdan. There evidently was radiation detectors there at the border crossing, and yeah, it was so much radiation. Those working at the border were told they had to take off their clothes and go get a health check. So what was this nuclear material, and what were they going to use it for? A dirty bomb? Maybe to break it up, put it in someone's drink or food? The 2 passengers and the driver, 3 in all, were arrested. If they made the workers there at the border crossing change their clothes and go in for health checks, I bet you those 3 Croatians are highly radioactive now. This here is an image of the bridge that goes over the river there at the border crossing. It crosses the Danube River. And people from Vinca Nuclear Research Installation there in Serbia were called in, and the next day, which I find it really kind of odd that they waited until the next day, but they took the nuclear material, which turned out to be a radioactive lightning rod. Yeah, I never heard such a thing, and here's some examples of the lightning rods that were produced. And here's an example of one. Let me bring this up. Yeah, I'm sure this one here is not radioactive, otherwise the man would not be handling it. WorldScience.org says the manufacture of radioactive lightning rods was allowed from 1970 to 1989. The authorization was allowed based on the state-of-the-art science of that time, and they believed that the radioactive lightning rods had they were superior to the conventional lightning rods. Yeah, they did something to the atmosphere when they emitted the radiation. They found out later that their efficiency was not superior enough to justify the use of radioactive sources. So in 1989, the National Commission of Nuclear Energy, CNEN, issued the resolution that forbid the importation of AM tapes assembly and commercialization of the radioactive lightning rods. They must have had a list of who purchased and put up these radioactive lightning rods, because they sent out letters to the users how they were to be removed and disposed of. Now this happened last Saturday on the 4th, and according to unofficial information, sensors sounded a warning of high levels of radiation and the presence of serious amounts of radioactive material in a passenger car. It turned out to be an Audi, and this is when they were trying to leave Serbia. They don't say how much radiation was detected, but evidently it was a high dose of radiation that was measured. There is an article dated back in 2013 where several radioactive lightning rods that were being stored in a lead-lined concrete bunker were stolen, and they're asking the public for their help to return them because of the chance of cancer. Yeah, this stuff is really evidently quite bad. Oh, I guess it happened in Ireland. So the ones that were stolen were in a locked metal container stored in a lead-lined concrete bunker. They contain radium and americium, Evidently, Mercium is still used in small, minute quantities in smoke detectors in people's homes. It says that the annual dose level of radiation for members of the public, which is only 1 millisievert. If you were standing beside this box, the one that was stolen, for a couple of hours, you would exceed that dose limit. More radiation you're exposed to, the higher your risk of cancer in the long term. If you opened up the box and handled the material and try to break it up, there is a threat of contamination to your hands, clothes, and skin. And if you ingest it, if you eat it, it would cause internal contamination. Well, we have often heard about different countries taking radioactive material and poisoning people with it. So was that why they stole it? Were they going to put it on the black market and sell it to somebody? Or did they already have a buyer? Here it says years ago there was a theory that if you put radioactive source in a lightning preventer, a lightning rod, it would ionize the air around the rod and create an electrical charge that would attract lightning. And that was debunked, and you don't see them anymore. Yeah, but how easy is it to get these things? I am sure you would think that those 3 people knew that they were being, in close proximity to the radiation, that they would possibly have a health threat. Maybe them thinking that because they are away from it, it was in the trunk of the Audi, that they were okay. I don't know. Yeah, kind of frightening to think about. It's so easy to get radioactive materials. Yeah, what were they going to use it for? What are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.